EKJ here again, just going over some setup like we've been going over the last couple of videos. We're gonna go over roll centers. It's TTR Team Tip Tuesday. Hope y'all having a good day today. But yeah, man, let's go over these roll centers. Here we go. Okay, RC family, we back again. Okay, we're going to talk about roll centers. Roll centers this evening. Okay, just to do a quick little recap, we talked about up to this point we talked about weight transfer, front and rear, which also can go. We talked about the pitch and roll of the car, which is kind of real similar to weight transfer. Just weight transfer under power, once you on brakes, your nose is going to dip down. Weight transfer. The weight transfer into the front of the buggy. When you accelerate, the rear may squat. So that's the weight shifting to the back of the buggy. But the number one thing on setup, 80% of our setup is definitely having the right tire. Having the right tire. Having the right tire is really gonna affect all the things that we went over so far. The weight transfer, the pitch and roll of your car, roll centers, all that is really affected on your tire choice, the tire that you need in the conditions that you're running in. So again, the thing that help aids in going back to the weight transfer and pitch and roll of your car is going to be your springs. Switching your springs up, you want less weight transfer, or you want more quicker weight transfer, you might go with a harder spring. Or if you want slower your weight transfer down, which is going to make the car a little bit easier to drive, you may want to go with a softer spring. Okay. But then again, like I said, one thing in setup, have to keep in mind, one thing in setup is 80% is the tires. And also, before we go into roll center, you have to keep in mind that the manufacturers make these cars to be pushed and race up to a certain working range. And if the car is pushed past that working range, that's when you see like some of the pros, when they really pushing the car, you see it may step out, spin out, or it may have oversteer, understeer because the car is pushing because they done driven the car over the working range of the car. You see more of that in like the sportsman class or the intermediate class when the guys are over driving the car, that's pushing the car past its working range. So you have to keep that in mind too, especially going in when to change your roll centers. Okay. The roll center is when on the rear tire, if you move your link up on the tire, that's lowering your roll center. If you move the link down on the tire, it makes you run higher roll centers. Okay, if you move the link up, a lower roll center is gonna make your car have more overall grip. It's gonna make the car easier to drive in certain conditions, like a mid grip, low grip track. If you run lower roll centers, your car gonna have a little bit more overall grip. Now the initial grip, like initially, once you start off, the car may feel a little lazy, but once you get going, the car gonna feel more connected to the track. When people say my car feels like it's more in the track or connected to the track, more in the track means just you give them, all this plays a part in the grip of your tire, your overall grip of your tires plays a big part in your roll center. So it's just the forces of grip that's connected to the roll center, which making you feel like the car, once it's a higher roll center, the car is more, feel like it's more skating on the track because of that roll center effect, because of the grip that's being generated through your tires. So again, once you raise the link up on your shock tower, that is lowering the roll centers. Move the link down, is running higher roll centers. Higher roll centers is going to give you more initial grip. That might be good on like high bike surfaces once you more run higher roll centers. But then again, a lot of the pro guys, that also plays a part in how much driving skill do you have, because a lot of guys might want the car to be more loose with a higher roll center because it makes the car a little bit more faster in turns, rotates quicker. But like I said, your driving skills have to be on point running that higher roll center in a, just say a mid grip situation, because you already know it's going to be a little easier. It's going to be, the car going to slide. So if your skills can drive that might be best for you. But like I said, if you lower your roll centers, move it up on the tower, that's lowering it. The lower the roll center is going to make your car have more overall grip. The car going to be more planted. It's not going to step out as easy with that lower roll center. So the lower roll center, just for my skills, you see how I got my links high on the tower? So that's a lower roll center for me. You just make the car initially, it may feel kind of lazy or not as much grip, but once I get going, the grip comes up and it's more easier, and the car feel more connected to the track, more in the track, more traction for me, easier to drive with the lower roll center. So yeah, this EKJ 24000, again, we went over weight transfer from front to rear. We went over the pitch and roll of your vehicle or your car. And now we're going over roll centers. And then again, keep in mind, 80% of our setup is the tires. And the tires going to make the big difference in your roll center. So, because the forces of the grip is going to affect that roll center. That's how we feel like it's more initial grip and less, and more, either less initial grip or more overall grip, or less overall grip, because of the traction of the tires and raising those roll centers. So, but yeah, EKJ 24000 here. Hope y'all got something out of that. I tried to make it as simple, as easy that I can, because a lot of this stuff, again, it affects different things. You may change one, but it's going to take away from something else. But you may want that because you may not need as much anti-squat in the back. If you do, just say, if you stiffen up your springs and your sway bars, it may take away from that weight transfer to the back. It may make it quicker. So one thing always affects something else that you may not need as much of in the condition that you're running in. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, this is just a little theory. EKJ, Teach Our Team Tip Tuesday. Give you something to think about when you get ready to set up your cars. And just stay tuned. We're going to go a little bit more about these roll centers on the next video, about testing them. And also, you can do the same thing with the roll centers on the front. See right here, I got my front roll centers here in the middle. So if you change it high on the rear, so my rear gonna be more locked in like this, with the lower roll center on the rear, and with a medium roll center on the front. This medium is just, you get more overall good steering, won't push as much with it in the middle. But you have to test this, because it may be best just thinking of it geometry, the geometry of the car. If everything's even the same way, it's going to pretty much, you would think in theory, it's going to work better with everything even. Like if I put my roll center in the front, lowering it in the front, like I got it lower in the rear, making it even front and the back, you would think that it's going to make the car, run more consistent. So a lot of stuff you do have to test yourself too, to see how your car gonna react with it, with one of them higher than the other. So a lot of testing gonna have to go along too with this setup stuff. So you can't forget to go out there and practice and try this stuff before you hit the track. So EKJ 24000, TTR 10 Tip Tuesday. Hope y'all having an awesome day. Hey, we out, baby. Peace.